Penquis received approval from the Bucksport Planning Board to build additional housing on Seminary Road. In addition to purchasing Knoxview apartments on Middle Street, Penquis plans to build 200 to 250 new apartments. Folks at Penquis are excited to see this partnership in Bucksport bring new homes to the community and hopes to reach other communities in the state.
Bucksport is very eager to have more affordable housing, and so we're very, very excited to work with a town that is welcoming us with open arms. We have active projects right now in as far north as Millinocket, several here in Bangor, as far south as Bucksport, but we're certainly always interested in looking at new acquisitions and new development sites that are in close proximity to grocery stores, banks, and those sorts of things.
If you're interested in applying for openings at Knoxview Apartments, you can call Penquis at 973-3500.